What is up, guys? Nundark here, and today's video is Gold Star Pokemon. Gold Star Pokemon cards are some of the rarest and most coveted grails in the Pokemon TCG. They are rare in the fact that they were low printed. They were sets that were low printed from the EX era, and there was only 2 or 3 Gold Stars per EX set, totaling 26 cards. Yes, today, if you open booster boxes worth of these very pricey packs of Pokemon cards, you'll pull a Gold Star. But the point is at that time, these sets weren't widely printed. Pokemon was at a little bit of a downturn from the WotC era, and these just weren't pulled. And if they were pulled, they weren't kept in good condition. So the pop reports on highly graded mint copies of these cards is very low, very scarce. If you can find any of these in a PSA 7 or above, you are sitting on a grail of grails. So without further ado, what I'm showing on the screen here is the 26 Pokemon Gold Star cards in order of their raw price, from cheapest, not really that cheap with a $300 entry point, but the cheapest one at the Regice is how I say it, Regice, doesn't matter. Regice is the cheapest Gold Star, with Regirock coming shortly thereafter. The Registeel does demand $50 more-ish, but you do have the legendary dogs there, which are cheap. Some of the, other than the Suicune, taking $365. But the colors on this table organize these Gold Stars by the set in which they were released. So you see the Legend Makers there in the light green, and then way at the bottom there in the dark green is Team Rocket Returns. That helps you guys understand the 2 or 3 Gold Stars released in each set. And again, your starting buy point at a raw card, it probably not in near mint, right? Raw card typically means LP to MP is like the average price you'd see these cards go for. That's $300. And it gets all the way down to the Umbreon and Espeon from Pop Series 5 at $2,000 plus for raw copies of these cards. Now going to the column to the right is the PSA 10 price. With your lowest, I didn't sort the column this way, so I'm going to take a stab here and peruse through this. I believe the lowest are the Raikou, Suicune, and Entei, with the Entei being the lowest. So the legendary dogs are either more printed, or their pop reports are better, or they're less desirable. Maybe they're simpler art. That's for you to judge. Let me know in the comments which ones you own, how you feel about the dogs. They are the most affordable Gold Stars. Now, that still is a $1,000 plus PSA 10 slab. Let that sink in, that the most affordable PSA 10 Gold Star are the 3 legendary dogs, which would demand $4,000 to get all 3 of them. And it brings you to the penultimate, most expensive Gold Star PSA 10 in existence, the Rayquaza from Deoxys. $32,550. That's insane. You have some other big ones there. The Gyarados from Holland Phantoms, the Pikachu, 2 Holland Phantom ones that are massive, massive cards in the community. The Gyarados is actually a Fire Gyarados Delta species. And then you have I think the discrepancy with the Latios. The Latios had less PSA 10 sales, and one of them was like $1,000, one of them was like $200,000, and then there was some high, like, they didn't have many sales, and the average on price charting, which I know is not maybe the most credible source, but it's the easiest way for me to pull data from these lists. You can look on TCG Player if you'd like, but it's skewed it in a way where 13,000 came out as the PSA 10 price. Let me know if the Latios just does drive that much higher of a cost premium at PSA 10 than the Latios, but I think together you could maybe work to get both of them for 10,000. You let me know. But other bangers, the Charizard, of course, from Dragon Frontiers. We all know the Darkness Delta species Gold Star Charizard. It's crazy. You have the Team Rocket Returns trio of Mudkip, Trico, and Torchic. Those are the starters of the EX era. And Torchic evolves to Blaziken, Mudkip, Swampert, Trico, Flygon, I believe. I own the Torchic, and this is my most prized childhood card. This got a CGC 3.5. This is still an $800 slab. $800 slab in a CGC 3.5 because of that little star right there. I should note that the artwork of Gold Star Pokemon were some of the first to pop out of their rectangle artwork frame. So see how the Torchic's hair is kind of extending beyond the north border and one of its feet is extending on the south? all the Gold Stars will extend beyond their artwork border, kind of making it 3D, making it pop out of that hollow pattern. Very, very desirable among the collecting world, and it was some of the first of its kind. Pair that with a Gold Star next to its name and extremely rare low printed sets, and you have a gold mine, and that's what it's turned into. The Umbreon and Espeon were the two from Pop Series 5, and then yes, the Rayquaza does also drive a high raw price. It's the third highest raw price at $1,300, and it gets to 32 grand in a PSA 10. Okay, so that's the list. A couple that fetch high PSA 10s that I did not mention are the Alakazam, Kyogre, Mewtwo, and Mew. Those are, and the Groudon. Those are all over $4,000, and then everything else is pretty much sub 4K for PSA 10s and sub like 750. You can find most of these cards. If you go in with a budget of $750 for a raw card, you can find it, other than maybe the big five that are noted toward the bottom of the list. And then for PSA 10 prices, you could get most of these with a budget of like $2,500 to $3,000, plus or minus in either direction. But that kind of $3,000 to $4,000 sweet spot will get you most of these, other than some of those toward the bottom, which are just that low in pop report and that high in demand. And you will need $200,000 to get every single Gold Star in a PSA 10. Compare that against the only, and I highly emphasize and air quote only, 17,000 to get them all raw. That is a difference of 183K to have them in gem mint versus raw, probably not in near mint copy, but in a binder. Now, will that be the coolest 2 pages in a binder of all time? Up for debate, but not really. It would be. It just would be. Also, though, would that be the greatest PSA 10 collection of all time? Also, probably true. So you let me know. What I kind of want to do is I want to get a couple ungraded for my collection that I think are cool or at a bargain or at a deal. But really, I don't intend to master this list. It's unobtainable for me. So I plan on picking out the 2 or 3 that I want in a slab. They will be low graded slabs, because the ones that are affordable in a PSA 10, and by affordable, I mean a large portion of my annual Pokemon budget would have to go to it, but I could do it. And it would be some of those legendary dogs or any of those kind of first 10 there where you see a 2 to 3K range for a PSA 10. I could do that, but I'd rather get all of the other things that money would allow me to do. So the 2 exceptions, I do like the Gyarados. I will say I really like the Gyarados. I've become a huge fan of the fire-breathing Gyarados. But the Pikachu Gold Star will be added to my collection at some point. I believe I will only be able to afford a PSA 4 or a PSA 5, which I still think is like $1,000. So that will come at a heavy price tag. But I need to be the owner of a Pikachu Gold Star Pokemon card to pair with my mint legendary collection reverse. I love Pikachu. I want to add Pikachus to my collection, and I couldn't call myself the Pikachu collector that I am without owning the Gold Star Pikachu. So that one and the Torchic are 2 that I want slabbed. And then if I had to pick a third, and I'm truly doing this on the spot, as cool as it would be to have the Trico and the Mudkip starters to pair with my Torchic, the Gyarados artwork is all time, but I actually find the color pattern of the Mew very aesthetically pleasing. The light blue with the orange, I just love. I think the Mew from Dragon Frontiers would be the third card. If I could put the Mew, the Torchic, and the Pikachu next to each other, slabbed in sub PSA 5 grades, that would be awesome for me. That would still fetch a cumulative price point of around $2,500 to $3,000. So it's nothing to like, but it's not even about money for me. These Gold Stars, yes, they will go up in value. They're extremely scarce and extremely rare and coveted and in demand. But for me, it's they tell the story of Pokemon. They're some of the everyone knows what a Gold Star Pokemon is, and not many people own it. They're infamous. So the 3 best artworks to me, right, from my collection to own them would be super special. So it wouldn't even really be a money play. But those would be affordable price points in the top 3 for me. So yeah, there's the list. I know I kind of ranted there. I can go through them in order, but I'm probably going to end up having flashed all the cards at some point while editing this video. But yeah, I just thought it would be really cool if you were ever, if you are pursuing this, congratulations on your financial situation. If you are, or apologies for the bad decisions you're embarking on. Yeah, good luck to anyone collecting Gold Stars. Let me know in the comments if you own Gold Star Pokemon, which you own, what your favorites are. I love talking about Gold Stars. I love talking about, you know, crystals, shinies, but most importantly, the Gold Stars, because those are the ones that I had experiences with as a child, and still own a card of. Like obviously here's a shining Mewtwo, right? That's cool. I remember this card, but this was actually my brother-in-law's that I bought from him. So I don't have memories of pulling the shining Tyranitar or the shining Noctowl, but I do have memories of pulling this Gold Star Torchic. And I don't believe I pulled any crystals. So that's just what it is for me. But let me know anything and everything Gold Stars, what you're going after, which you own. Send me pictures. I'd love to chat about Gold Stars in the comments. Please subscribe if you haven't. More of these types of videos to give you guys the knowledge you need to maybe pursue purchasing some of these for your collection coming up in the future. And then a huge, massive collection update video coming very soon that I'm stoked about. I've been making a lot of moves, and I can't wait to summarize them in kind of a quarterly update style video. That'll be a big one. But above all, be a good person, tell somebody you love them, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.